Welcome back to From the Page of Power Slam, issue 30, January 1997. This is one of those issues where you can feel the business shifting under your feet. Not all at once, not in one moment, but piece by piece. The WWF is changing direction, whether it fully realizes it or not. WCW is getting bigger, but not always tighter. And ECW is doing something completely different that nobody can ignore anymore. It starts with From the Top, and right away the tone is different from anything in the Apter magazines. This is Finn Martin breaking down the WWF UK Express Tour, and he's not just telling you what happened, he's evaluating it, the crowds, the pacing, the structure of the shows, how the matches were laid out. It reads like someone studying the product, not promoting it. What worked, what didn't, and whether the WWF machine actually translates the same way outside the United States. That's the lens for the entire issue. And then what's going down opens everything up. This is the full landscape. WWF, WCW, ECW, Japan, everything moving at once. It reinforces that if you're reading this magazine, you're not locked into one company. You're tracking the whole business, and the business is moving fast. Color commentary is where things really start to lock in, because now the focus turns to Steve Austin, and this isn't written like a push. It's written like a case study. He comes in as the ringmaster, quiet, almost invisible, letting someone else talk for him, working a style that doesn't connect. Then everything changes, the look changes, the attitude changes, the way he talks changes, and slowly the reaction changes. It's tracked step by step right through that strap match with Savio Vega, where even in defeat, something clicks, and when Ted DiBiase exits, Austin stands on his own, and it finally starts to work. This isn't hype, it's evolution, and the magazine treats it like something real that had to be figured out. Vid Review slows things down, but even here it's grounded. The Best of Raw tape, the Heartbreak Kid compilation. They're not being sold to you, they're being judged. What's actually worth watching, what you've already seen before, whether it's worth the money. It's practical, and that fits the tone of the entire issue. Yep. Manners Matt Musings keeps that edge, taking a look at Roddy Piper stepping into power in WCW, and instead of celebrating it, it questions it. Does it make sense? Does he fit in that role? It's not dismissive, but it's not accepting it either. That's the constant thread. Everything gets looked at twice. Then the issue hits its biggest turning point. Heartbreaker. Sid defeating Shawn Michaels at Survivor Series isn't treated like a shocking moment just for the sake of shock. It's broken down. Michaels wasn't just champion, he was the direction, the focal point. And Sid taking that title changes the structure of the company overnight. It raises questions about confidence, about long-term plans, about whether the WWF is reacting or actually steering itself. The result is surprising, but the implications matter more. The centerfold reinforces it visually. Sid as champion, bigger, heavier, different. Not the same kind of centerpiece, and that difference is the point. Then you hit the PS50, and this is one of the defining pieces of the entire issue. The top 50 wrestlers in the world, ranked and presented like it actually means something, not just a list to glance at, but something to argue with, something to come back to. It covers everyone across every promotion, and it positions itself as the chart that matters, whether you agree with it or not. That's the authority Power Slam is trying to establish. And from there, Flares for the Gold introduces Flash Funk, and this follows that familiar structure of taking a new arrival and laying everything out, where he came from, what he's done, what he might become. It's part background, part projection, and even the magazine acknowledges that sometimes those projections don't land the way they expect, that honesty is baked into the format. And then everything shifts with Funk and Disorderly, and now you're in ECW. November to Remember isn't presented like a clean event. It's chaos. Matches spilling out of control, weapons, blood, fights moving through the building, the Dudleys turning on each other, Axl Rotten swinging chairs. And then suddenly it shifts again into something completely different with Sabu, Rob Van Dam, and the Eliminators putting together something that feels ahead of its time. High risk, fast paced, innovative, and completely unlike what WWF or WCW are doing. And when it builds into that three-way dance, it feels like the crowd is right there with it, not watching but reacting to every second. World War III pulls it back to WCW, and the tone changes again. This is a big idea that doesn't fully come together. It starts strong, but it drags. The structure doesn't hold. And instead of excusing it, the magazine says it's straight. The concept is there, but the execution doesn't match it. That's as honest as it gets. Who's That again focuses on Chris Jericho, and it's about recognition. A wrestler with ability, with personality, but still building a name in a crowded field. It's a snapshot of someone before everything clicks, before everything takes off. The letter section brings the readers into it, and this isn't polite discussion. The titles alone tell you that. Fans arguing, calling things out, reacting strongly to what they're reading. And this is an engaged audience, not a passive one. And then See Ya closes the issue with The Undertaker in a new look, a reminder that even the most established characters aren't staying the same. Everything is evolving. And that's what defines this issue. Nothing feels locked in place. Sid is champion, but questions follow him. Austin is rising, but it's happening in real time. ECW is changing expectations. WCW is experimenting and sometimes missing. And Power Slam is right in the middle of it, not telling you what to think, but showing you everything and letting you decide. If you remember this time, you remember how quickly things were changing. And then this issue captures that better than most. If this one brought you back, save it and come back to it. Drop your thoughts. Did Sid feel like the right move, or did it feel like something was already shifting away from him? See you next time. Farewell from the Empire State.